Peace and blessings collective. Welcome in. Welcome in. Excuse me. Already. Okay. And it's interesting that that's the first thing that happened as soon as I turned the camera on. Hello, sunshine. Um, because my mic is in a different spot because I'm wearing a high collared shirt. And I really contemplated changing my shirt, but I like the shirt I have on, so I didn't. So my mic is basically in my neck. So you might be hearing the depths of some confirmation throughout this video. But I'm seeing this 1111 card sitting next to me that just says alignment, and that just is so potent. When under that is sixth house, work and relationships, everyday life matters. And I actually was just looking at my sixth house placements because I have Aries in the sixth house, and that is where Chiron is currently placed, which Chiron is going retrograde or stationing retrograde tomorrow. And shout out Molly McCord, but the insights as to the current location of Chiron is like cosmic Chiron, which is a very affirmative energy surrounding what we've been like. If you've seen any of the previous messages on this channel, very ascension heavy. There is a major theme of ascension and ascension symptoms. If you are noticing my voice, that is definitely one of the lingering symptoms, ascension symptoms, that is. And I can feel my like throat chakra wanting to, I'm seeing meditate on the bottom of the deck. That is definitely a meditate to release. Release is first thing out. Letting go. There's definitely a lot to let go of as you ascend, because you have to release the density, the past life density, letting go of the identifications with past experiences, with past, with the past, period. Like no longer needing to bring the past into the present in order to feel validation, if that makes sense. 222 on the time as I was saying that. No longer needing to tell old stories to reaffirm old identities, because you are new now. Why do you need you? I'm saying why, but you do not need old identities or old stories to define who you are now, because that is only going to limit your ability to show up in your fullness, to show up in your truth. And we have new moon on the bottom of the deck. This past new moon in Leo actually may be significant. And then we have full moon. So this upcoming, clearly that's some heavy energy. Interesting. Full moon is out now as well. So the upcoming full moon may also be significant. Nature, spirits, and time. Yeah, definitely spend some time in nature. And that's for me too. Truth. Yeah. Earth is, as the sun comes out to shine, we are literally anchoring the light into earth. Like as you embody your light, and I'm seeing sun here as well. Shout out to the sun. And this says healing energy, happiness, comfort, joy. That's what the sun wants to give you. That's what the earth is giving you. That's what we are exchanging. That is the energy that is flowing in the relationship with the earth, if you allow it. Like if that is the energy that you are carrying, the frequency that you are carrying. Yeah, definitely spend time in nature. Nature, spirits, and time. That's a very loud message. Very loud message in itself. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm like, wow, the message really just took off on its own. I'm catching up. I'm here. That's been another major theme for me recently, is like my personal what? Where am I going with that trade? My humanness. There it is. My person, my human, and my divinity integrating, like being able to really anchor the truths of these energies into my everyday life, into everyday life matters. Let's read what this card says. Job, coworkers, daily routines, lifestyle, habits, responsibility, duty, service, helpfulness, diet, health, pets. The last one says bad luck. I don't even, not acknowledged. The Hermit and the Magician are the tarot card associations with the sixth house. So the Hermit and the Magician. And that's coagulation, soul ascension on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, like it's time to come outside in a way that like this light, this leading with this light, leading with the energy of light, shining your light unapologetically. Black Moon Lilith and Sagittarius, free yourself. Let your true self, your essence self, your undiluted self. We have dissolution with emotional clearing. Yes, clear the density. Allow yourself to show up light. Free of the past storylines, free of any old identities. What's this? Black Moon Lilith and Pisces, honor your boundaries. Yeah, and the way that's channeling through is like honor boundaries set between people who would have you pulled back to old identities, and trust that you're doing what's best for you and therefore what's best for the whole, for the all. And I don't know why it feels straining for me to say that, whole. There's really a blockage there. Wait a minute. Like, it feels like it's like the ego grasping for its individuality is literally what it feels like as I say whole and all. That is such a weird sensation that I have never felt before. Like, and I won't say I've never felt it. I have felt this strain, but it's usually this is like a strain that I feel when I'm singing, not when I'm speaking. That's interesting. We have a Shira on the deck with Mother of the Gods, which is really giving that divine feminine energy. And we have Neptune here with magic, imagination, and illusion. I'm going to read this Ashira card. But where was I even going? Oh, because like the whole all blockage. Yeah, it's really being able to maintain those boundaries that keep you from returning to old identities. Because it won't even feel good. Like you might, if you end up in those situations or connecting with those people, or, like dishonoring your boundary and, going back to people, places, situations, experiences that bring you back to old identities, like you're going to feel uncomfortable, but in that moment, that uncomfortability is your cue to turn the light on. Like release the illusions that surround the environment or the connection or the projection of yourself that you feel like you quote unquote need to be in that environment, and show up as your full self and give yourself the permission to, what's coming through is the permission to be rejected, because it feels like whatever that identity is that you were clinging on to, like you adopted that identity so that you would not face rejection. But now, like in that moment, when you feel the discomfort of the pang of going back to an old identity, give yourself the permission to be rejected, but do not reject yourself. And chances are when you give yourself the permission to be rejected, i.e. allowing yourself to express yourself fully externally to this environment, person, connection, whatever it is, you won't be rejected. Like it's going to be the proof to you that you don't have to pretend. Yeah. I'll take that. Black Moon, Lilith, and Virgo, release perfectionism. Literally just allow it to be easy, to be light. Mercury, which communication and truth, and Mercury is currently in retrograde. But this retrograde does feel very different. This energy, like the imagery of this Mercury card, feels so much lighter than like the reputation, I guess, that Mercury has, especially around its retrograde path. And I'm seeing these birds, so birds may be significant as well. I want to read this Mother of the Gods, Ashira, number 20. Ashera was the ancient divine feminine goddess, mother of the gods, whom the ancients worshipped as the queen of heaven. When her oracle card shows up in a reading, consider matters involving the mother, home, and your family tree. Not everyone has a nurturing and healthy experience with maternal energy in their life, so if this applies, the shadows around this can feel difficult. Issues of fertility in children can arise. It's time to face what has been hiding beneath the surface. You also can be changing your home, renovating, or taking part in ancestral healing through a spiritual modality. Ashera was an ancient Semitic goddess who was the queen consort of the supreme god El, the fertile mother of 70 gods. She was worshipped alongside El, but ultimately her presence led to suppression when patriarchally based monotheism took hold. Ashera is another example of how powerful dark feminine figures have been demonized by male-dominated religious patriarchies. She was considered evil, a false god that one should not worship for fear of punishment. Men were supposed to lead the church, with women as subservient and silent. Even the demonized Queen Jezebel, see page 44, worshipped Ashera, having dedicated pagan rituals and ceremonies to the queen goddess. Not only was she a goddess and deity, but Ashera was also the name for sacred ceremonial poles or trees used on ancient pagan altars. It is theorized that they were used to worship and venerate the goddess. These Ashera poles were typically used in pagan practices, but were later banned and demonized by the religious patriarchy. Nurture yourself, heal, and tap into the wisdom of the supreme goddess. Mother of 70 gods. Yeah. So interesting, addressing like mother wound energy. I kind of feel like I need to read. I'm going to read the Mercury card as well. 24. Yeah. We have 9, 12, 26, and 24. 20, 20, and 6, and 24. So 24 is Mercury. When Mercury, the oracle card, appears, it's time for you to tap into the alchemy of your thoughts, speech, and written word. All is mind, and your words are the spells that fashion the masterpiece of your reality. This is the Hermetic universal law called mentalism, and a powerful manifestation practice to integrate during your alchemical journey. Your thoughts and words create the frequency and vibration that attract people, places, and things into your life. When you receive this card in an oracle reading, the opportunity to speak publicly or step into the spotlight is also coming. Be confident in your voice. Don't be afraid to share your ideas with the world. Your power to manifest is increasing. Harness it by channeling your thoughts in the direction of your dreams. Mercury is the messenger, master communicator, wordsmith, and cosmic magician. The planet Mercury is associated with the Greek god Hermes, known as Thoth in Egypt. Hermes or Thoth was the scribe of the gods, the patron of writing, learning, intelligence, astrology, magic, and alchemy. In astrology, Mercury represents communication, thought, and speech. It is the closest planet to the sun and the fastest moving planet in the solar system. It rules over the air sign of Gemini and the earth sign of Virgo. Gemini rules over the social side of Mercury, while Virgo is more analytical. Mercury in your chart determines how you channel information from your imagination into the physical world. Look at your unique birth chart to identify where Mercury lies to understand how your mind processes information. Interesting. And it does go through. You know what, for the enjoyment of everyone here, and it was 1444 as I looked up, I'm going to read, because it lists what each Mercury means. So you just need to know where your Mercury is. I don't even think I know for sure where mine is, but we're just going to go through the list. Mercury in Aries is verbal leadership. Mercury in Taurus is creative wordsmith. Mercury in Gemini, verbal genius. Mercury in Cancer, emotional communicator. Mercury in Leo, expressive speaker. Mercury in Virgo, analytical wizard. Mercury in Libra, balanced discussions. Mercury in Scorpio, intuitive thought. Mercury in Sagittarius, broad perspective. Mercury in Capricorn, realistic and grounded. Mercury in Aquarius, logical intelligence. Mercury in Pisces, emotion and feeling. And then it says, you are a magician, and your words are your wand. Use the power of your thoughts. And that has been an ongoing theme of the readings the last few days, is to anchor your frequency by channeling your thoughts intentionally, like being aware of the dialogue in your mind, not allowing your thoughts to roam free without your supervision. Like to, hold on, because I feel called to the Sign of the Times Oracle, which I haven't picked up in a while. But yeah, to make sure that you are conscious in your thoughts, like know where you are in your mind, know where you, like, be intentional of the words that show up in your mental landscape, because those are the seeds you're planting, or those are the soil that you're planting the seeds in. Because like the words that just flow by are basically the soil, or really more so the clouds. I don't know. I'm trying, because there's like an analogy that I'm seeing of like your subconscious flow of thoughts, depending on what it's like. Coins, good luck. Interesting. It's like it depends on the paradigm that you operate in. Cowrie shells, abundance. I'm actually wearing cowrie shells right now. Key, opportunity. I'm going to take that as well. And then I'm going to keep shuffling. Okay. But yeah, you have a very divine opportunity, 1717 on the time as I'm saying that, to be well aware of what's going on in your mind, and like making your mind a fun place to be. Like literally use your wand, work your magic in your mind, visualize, see the manifestation, feel the manifestation without trying to limit it. Anchor stability. And what it's like, you're anchoring the frequency, you're anchoring in the vision. I'm seeing obstacles on the bottom of the deck, and it feels like that's like adding to that vision that I was trying to see of like what the words are like. So your the unobserved thoughts are like, depending on like how long you have been actively rewiring or reprogramming, or intentionally, being mindful of the thoughts and the words and the types of words you're using, the types of questions you're asking in your mind, they could be obstacles. Like they will produce obstacles for you, and you won't even recognize that they're self-created obstacles. But the more you spend time inside yourself, listening to your internal monologue, dialogue, I'm not sure, like it depends on how it manifests for you. For me, it is a dialogue. Like there is question and answer, and there always has been, even when I thought it was just me. I mean, it's not just me anymore, but it was always me and my higher self, I'm now realizing. But now I've opened the door for higher consciousness, period, to communicate with me directly. But yeah, it's like being mindful of the self-imposed, self-created obstacles, because it's like your unobserved thoughts could obscure your ability to see the vision. Like you'll see it, like you'll know that on the other side of, and I've already shuffled away the obstacles, but there was mountains on the card, if you remember what that card looks like. And it's like, the more, like you'll be able to sense like, oh, there's something wonderful on the other side of those mountains, or even at the top of those mountains. But realizing that they're not really mountains, like you could just slide them right on out of the way, They're man-made. They're an optical illusion. They're a mirage, a reflection mirror. Literally, your external reality is a reflection of your internal experience. And if you are experiencing peace and harmony on the inside, your 3D reality has no choice but to reflect to you peace and harmony on the outside. So yeah, it's definitely a time to make peace with your personal, make peace with your it feels like make peace with your past. There we go. That's the word that was coming out. Cause I'm like, there's a P there, but it's not the word that's coming out of my mouth. Make peace with your past by releasing it, because it no longer exists. We have Alpha and Omega. Every ending is a new beginning. The first will be last and the last will be first. Honest. Oh, and then we have Mary Magdalene on the bottom under that with love only ever expands. I'm going to read this Alpha and Omega card actually. And then we'll see where we go from there. No need to think ahead just yet. Or at all, really. I mean that. I'm going to stand by that. Like, you trying to figure out ahead. No need for that. But, think the thoughts that you desire to think. Paint the picture of the reality you desire to see if you're going to think ahead. The Alpha and Omega, every ending is a new beginning. Christ's parable of the vineyard workers describes a man who arrives in a vineyard late in the day, and yet he's given the same amount of pay for his brief labor as those who have been hard at work since dawn. Christ explains that in the world to come, or in the world that already exists invisibly within this one, those who are last shall be first, and the first last. Matthew 20:16. This doesn't seem fair, though, or just. And that's precisely what the parable is meant to do. It's meant to get us all caught up in our ego so that we can release it. Ego comes through again. If we really focus on what's fair according to the ego, we get tied up in feeling as if we're being cheated or betrayed. This comes from the ego's fear that there's only so much treasure to go around. We think this laborer who only just showed up as the work was almost over will take from what we would have received. According to the ego, what others get, we miss out on. There isn't a concept of plenty, only lack and scarcity. The ego can't conceive of an unconditional love that isn't concerned with what's fair when it comes to who can receive it. The treasure is for everyone who shows up. Whether we've only just started the work now or we've been laboring in the name of love for our entire lives, love is here for all of us equally. Love operates on a system that's limitless, and this feels entirely unfair to the ego. And when we realize this, that, quote, the last shall be first and the first last, the ego is released. And what had felt like a painful betrayal or an unjust situation expands into something new. We can revel in the unreasonable abundance of love. The unreasonable abundance of love. The Alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet and the Omega is the last. So this is the practice. To keep releasing the ego, which means having massive amounts of mercy on ourselves and others, we keep reaching the Omega point so we can rise again, which means starting over, going back to the beginning, humble, human, more merciful, more in love. Soul Voice Meditation. What egoic story can I release right now so I can start again? That literally feels like it summed up everything I've been trying to say this entire message, but it felt so jumbled. And I'm interested to watch this message back to see if anything I said made sense, because it didn't feel like it did. But that card really feels like it just pulled every single thing that I was feeling on the inside to the surface in a way that makes sense to the ego. I do want to come over to this Ascension Oracle real quick as well. because this just feels very supportive at this time, because there's a lot of, I mean, we're literally in the midst of ascension, and ascension doesn't end. Like, you continue to ascend. So we're going to be here. We're here. We're in this together. Look, we're walking each other home, but we're home. We're here. We are ascending, ascended. One card, please. Hello. Ooh. Return to innocence. And this card actually showed up on the bottom of the deck when I read with this deck. I think it was yesterday. And the bottom of the deck now is number 17, Divine Plan. Well, let's see, number 12, Return to Innocence. Returning to innocence is moving back into the oneness of love within you. This oracle asks you to open up more to the divine child within you, to explore life with an open heart and open mind. Life need not be so serious. Bring humor into the exploration of yourself and the world around you. Consciously make time to have fun and feel alive through spontaneous play and laughter. What brings you joy? What makes your heart sing? Move back into a space of wonderment and allow your heart to be nurtured by the miracles of love all around you. See and feel the luminosity of a single flower. Feel the energizing hug from the grounding presence of a deep-rooted tree. When you nurture your inner child with love, there is a return to innocence. You remember your divinity and move back into an expanded state of being. Loved one, it is time to truly open yourself up to the magic of life by aligning yourself with what brings you joy. Lighten up by embodying your inner child with the simple presence of unconditional love. Exercise, bring more humor into your daily life. Blow bubbles, play hide and seek, draw, sing, play, explore, and dance in the rain. Affirmation, I am a divine child of the universe. On that note, I am going to love and leave y'all here. It's time to go play and release the past because it no longer exists. Play freely, innocently. Yeah. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Service links are in the description. And yeah, I'm wishing you an abundant ascension, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Peace.